everyone, and welcome back to Two Dope Black Doulas. My name is Brittany Jones.
Hey everyone, I'm Danielle Watson Murray, and yes, welcome back. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, and welcome back, Danielle, from maternity leave.
Round of applause. Hey.
Like when I said that, the first thing that came to my mind is that song, Your Poom Poom Brain Life. So I am so
Brittany, Brittany, this is why when you send your non-Caribbean friends jokes, this is what happened. I cannot shout out to my Jamaican roots because definitely brought life.
Yes, bring life. We do so much as women and moms. So, I'm glad that you were able to take the time off to, spend time and bond with baby. So
Yes,
cute, chunky cheeks.
yes, and shout out to you, uh, Miss Brittany, who was my postpartum doula. So she was she was in the trenches with me at the very beginning. So the doulahood doesn't stop, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy to be able to serve in that capacity for you and be able to
Oh,
support you in that way. That was really awesome. And it shows like community, like the community that Doulahood builds.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna say it doesn't stop just because I myself am a trained doula. It's very easy to almost forget how much goes into giving birth, how much goes into then the postpartum, and it's supposed to be about you and baby, and a lot of things is everyone forgets it. Like mom needs that love too. So
Right.
postpartum doulaship is amazing because that's when you guys, as a postpartum doula, Miss Brittany, can really just jump in and just be like, "Hey, did you sit down today? What do you need?" And it's just like,
Right.
"Oh yeah, that's right," because
Right.
everyone forgets. The baby's so cute, no one remembers mom.
And I think everybody forgets too about the like integrating a new person into your life, right? So
100%.
bringing this person in, they got a different schedule than you. So like they up when you need to be asleep and they
Facts.
sleep when you're up. So just trying to like balance it all. And like you said, there's a lot of focus that goes into baby. Oh, baby's here. He's a new member of the
Yeah.
family. And we just want to celebrate them. But they also forget that mom needs that support too. Mom needs the nutrition, especially if she's breastfeeding, to maintain nutrition, hydration, all of that to make sure
Yeah.
that they're supporting baby in that way. Yeah, we forget about that piece. And you're healing
Mhm.
because you just birth a whole human and you have a
Exactly.
whole like dinner size plate wound in your uterus. So
Right.
we just forget about that piece and focus more on the baby being here.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, so this episode, Adventures of Doulahood, is it is definitely a lot of Brittany and her doula work, but that's part of it because she was definitely a huge part, an integral part of our household. My husband literally asked, I think I was probably like 15 weeks postpartum at that point, and my husband's like, "Is Brittany coming back?" She's like, "Sir, respectfully, no." Look, for 12 weeks, she was here every other
Imagine
weekend.
though a world where we could have postpartum doulas built into insurance and like postpartum doulas had like a period of time that they work with the family to
Yeah.
support a family. I
Be-
mean,
I mean, just another country.
wishful
So,
thinking, but
we're going to manifest that and put that into the atmosphere because it needs to be out, okay? This needs to happen. If it can be placed in even up to 3 months, 6 months, I mean, we know the postpartum period lasts technically up to 2 years. That was a recent study that was put out. And it is true. Your hormones, everything does not go back into place as quickly. You often have anger and you have a lot more anxiety, especially if you're breastfeeding or not. But a lot of times you're like, oh, am I eating enough? And it's because your hormones are literally frankly out of whack. So
right, right.
again, even as a doula myself, I forget all that stuff until I'm like, why am I so angry? Why am I so tired? I'm like, oh, here's a small human. I'm still trying to keep alive. Yeah, that's
Right,
all.
right. It's
So that,
interesting. Like I was gonna say, I know we're talking about ventures since we last came together and recorded an episode. But I was thinking about a client in particular that I had, and you were saying like when you're pregnant and after you have your baby, you know, your hormones are kind of shifting and fluctuating and going up and down and all over the place. And because of that, your mental may be all over the place as far as like your anxiety. So like I had a
mm,
mom that was, you know, and I saw the shift. It was very interesting to me as a, you know, psychologist with my background in psychology, where she, you know, you're not thinking about when you're pregnant, you're just like, oh, baby, you're not really thinking like that I'm going to be responsible for a whole human in a,
right.
like, especially when you're in labor, not really, it doesn't sometimes click. And I remember the conversation we had while she was in labor and after the baby to like, the day after and discharged from the hospital, she was like, I'm just so worried that he's not getting enough milk. And she's
Mhm.
breastfeeding. So when you're breastfeeding, you can't see how much milk the baby's getting. You can
Nope.
only listen to the cues. You know, they tell you, like, listen to the cues of when they're swallowing and hear that. And you know that they're getting something because they're
At
swallowing.
their cheeks, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know how much they're eating. You don't know if you're, you know, they're getting a lot or they're getting a little. Like you don't, it's not like a bottle where you can measure it out and you see how
Right,
much it's getting.
right.
Um, but I just remember hearing her, the anxiety in her voice around, she was like, well, he's super fussy. So I'm thinking he's not getting enough. And like, I don't know. The doctor was like, you know, I maybe need to supplement. And I was like, you know, well, and you can also pump and put in a, you know, pump, and then you
I,
could
you know, I
also
was gonna
see
say
how
that.
much you're given, as well. So,
Yeah. I think
yeah.
that's helpful because I know for myself, even with especially with the twins, it was very difficult to realize or recognize or even find out how much they were getting. And obviously, there's two of them, so I was just like, okay, so I pumped at least every other time just that I can have a bottle and say, okay, I know they are getting two and a half each this time, so that usually helps. Additionally, I know I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or if it's true, but I know a lot of times when babies are breastfed, you know, obviously milk that comes from the bottle, their breast milk, it is not only easier for mom or families to see how much is in the bottle, but also for babies, I feel like they're working different muscles. So I feel
Mhm.
like that kind of tires them out as well, where they're just like, oh, this is like, you know, they're used to controlling the bottle, but with the bottle,
Mhm.
oh, excuse me, with the milk in the breast, but when the milk is in the bottle, it's just like, here you go. So they're just like, whoa, they're kind of
Mhm.
getting waterboarded a
Mhm.
little bit.
Mhm. Yeah,
um,
definitely.
so I feel like that helps with the fussiness where they're just like, oh man, babies are like, this is real. Let me get into it.
And it, yeah, and it comes, the flow is different. Like it comes out of the bottle very differently. It
So,
flows quickly with less effort, whereas there's a lot of effort that has to go into like the, because the, again, like breastfeeding is a biofeedback loop, so like your
yeah,
body feels that tug on the nipple and they're like, okay, we're feeding baby, so like let's
yep,
prepare and change the structure so that,
I
you know,
guess,
baby can get what it needs. So
yeah,
it requires baby to be doing something on our end, and it's like a beautiful dance. Like nobody really sees that piece. It's like a dance. Like the baby has to do what it has to do. My breast has to do what it has to do in order for
so you're
everything to
working
work. Yeah.
literally like, yeah, a row team, if you will. It's like
Yeah,
everybody has to play their position,
in sync.
right? I was like, yes, I look 100%. And I feel like, Brittany, you, I was going to say, while I was busy trying to keep all these tiny humans alive, you also were trying to keep all the tiny humans alive.
Yeah, so I definitely thinking about self-care as a doula, because there's statistics out there that say doulas burn out in a certain number of years. I think it's 2 years
Yeah,
within the doula space and everything. And I wanted to
wow,
be intentional, so I took some time for the holidays just to like just be present with my family and spend time
right.
with them, and not necessarily have to focus on, you know, going to a birth or, you know, providing any kind of support. So I think that was like much needed. But then, you know, I had some clients in January, so jump right back into it. Like we're
Back into
17 days
normal.
in and we are full fledged, full force.
literally helping to keep tiny humans alive, and you're like,
Yes, yes, and we've had a lot of, false starts, people, believing that they're in labor and they're not actually in labor, and a lot of,
this is sad.
being up and helping people navigate, like, "What are you feeling? How are you feeling? What kind of contractions? What are you feeling with your contractions? Oh, you thought your water broke. Tell me what is the," and I know it's, like, so much TMI sometimes, like, as a doula, you're like, "Well, tell me, what time did your water break? What color was the liquid that came
What
out,
does
and
it
what was
smell
the
like?
smell like?" You know?
And they're like, I'm like, listen, this is just the beginning. We're gonna be, I don't play this. We're gonna be real close,
All up in there. Like, oh,
all up in there. That's look, we
not
here to
not
look.
not in there as your provider would be, but we're
No,
gonna be
we're
friends. We're gonna be
we're
talking. We're gonna
close
be. I
proximity.
need to know, like, and it's so interesting because you'll have some of your clients that are like, they send you pictures, like, is this my mucus plug? Like, like,
Right,
and
and
then
you're like,
some people are like, I think I lost, you know what I mean? Like, they're not on that level where they're like, here, look at this. Tell me, is this my mucus plug or not?
right. I'm always like, what is your gut telling you? I probably should call the doctor. Then call the doctor,
Call the
and
doctor.
I will
Right,
be here on
right.
standby. But yeah, keeping the tiny
Yes,
humans alive because it is. It doesn't matter. I mean, from my experience, it doesn't matter how many times you're about to give birth. Every birthing experience is different,
absolutely.
and like you said, it's like the false starts. I mean, you know, how many times I was just like, wait, did I go into labor? Am I going into labor? Wait, am I going to labor? And I was just like, nope, nope. And then you go, and you're like, I think so. Like you go, I'm going to my doctor's visit. And they're like, no, you're just barely one. And I was just like, oh. Even when I was in labor after I think 6 hours with my last baby, maybe seven. And I was just like, oh, I was like, these pains are getting intense. And I'm like, I know I'm close. And they're like, you're still about five. Still? What do you mean still? Mind you, at this point, this was the fourth child. And I was just like, oh no. It's like, you know what? Bring the epidural. Stop playing with me. You playing games because this is a whole shift of work. I don't we are changing nurses and doctors and I'm still here.
Right.
So the whole false
Right.
start, very accurate for me.
Like, I remember with my last one with my daughter, my water broke and I knew it was my water, like, but when I got to the hospital, the doctor was like, "Well, we're gonna test it." I was like, "I can tell you for sure that this is my water. Like, what do you think? Like,
You
are
see
you
yourself?
suggesting that I'm not like, I don't know. I'm just
Right.
using the bathroom on myself? Like, no, this is my
Okay.
water." Um, but yeah, like to your point too, Danielle, like I remember like they started the Pitocin and like 20 minutes later I was like, I'm ready. Like these contractions are strong. Like I know I
Gotta
am
be up.
10. I
Mm.
gotta be ready.
Yeah,
They're like,
like,
oh no, you're like 5.
get out of here. I'm like, you can leave. So, so I'm like, even I thought about it, and while I was giving birth, and I'm just like, as my doula, one of my other doula sisters were there as my birth doula, and I'm laughing because I'm just like, this is what I put on my clients when they're like 5 centimeters. Are you kidding me? And I'm just like, it's okay. It's what let your body do what it's supposed to do. And as my doula was telling me this, I just looked at her like she was like, okay, you don't want that conversation. I said, no, not right now, sweetheart. So I can imagine you going through it where you're just like, ooh, yeah, that's
Like I
you
gotta
couldn't
be. I gotta be.
you couldn't do anything. I'm sorry. Um, it's definitely I feel like adventurous when it comes to the doula space in so many different ways. I know when we are on call, and I think that's something that's not talked about enough in the doula space is that although we are not clinical, we are technically on call when we are, our
Absolutely.
clients. What is it? Please remind me because my mom brain is kicking in already. Is it when they're within 3 weeks of their birth, their due
2
date?
weeks. 2 weeks. So they typically 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after your due date, like you're on call because, you could go clients can go anytime. Like they could go 2 weeks before their due date or they could go 2 weeks after their due date. So during that like basically month, like we're there on call. You could call us at 2 o'clock in the morning and say I'm in labor and we have to, be able to be at a place where we can get up and go. So I feel like, not to interrupt you, Danielle, I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. That was a segue for you. You've been on the adventure the last month. You tell me.
So you definitely have to be, I think doula work is not for the faint of heart. Like you definitely have to be in a space where you are wanting to help and wanting to
Mm,
be serve in that capacity, because it is like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. calls, waking up, and it may not be like, it may be, oh, I think I'm in labor, and you still, you're having to respond, or it may be, no, I'm in labor, you have to come to the hospital, it's 2 o'clock in the
right,
morning. So I think thinking about our doula journeys and everything, like that's something that that's a quality that a doula has to have, is being able to serve those in a capacity where you're able to like get up and go whenever the time is needed. And that's with the birth doula. Still, even with postpartum, being a postpartum doula, it's less like kind of 24-hour on call type thing,
right.
but you're still serving in a like a serving capacity, being able to shift and be flexible wherever is needed, because
Exactly.
your mom might say, I need this kind of support in the beginning before you start working together, and then you might start working together and you might notice like, hey, actually I think you might benefit from support in this way, and let me show you how I can support you in this way, and I think this, if I help in this way or this capacity, this might help in on this side. So being able to be flexible and being able to serve others is definitely traits that someone who's aspiring to be a doula would need to be, or have in their repertoire.
Yep, had that focus, and that's why I'm like, now that I have another tiny human, I'm like, how am I going to juggle that? Because I mean, technically, I'm already usually up at like 2 a.m. breastfeeding. But if I have a client and I have to jump to it, I'm just like, yeah, I have, milk on reserve. But at the same time, I'm like, woo, I would have to have breast pump ready because I don't know if I'm going to be there for an hour or 15 hours.
Hmm.
So that's the adventurous part that I keep thinking to myself that it is it's taxing on your body and mentally as well. Um, but for me, it's now a shift of like, okay, I still want to do this. I still have this passion for it. And how am I going to put this into my new normal and my new schedule? Because Brittany, you've been on call.
And so I can say, like, one of the things that I've been dealing with, and we can talk about this in future episodes as well, is being a mom and a doula. If my children are grown or off on their own in college or whatever, is kind of, I feel like it would be a little bit easier, and that and to be able to like go and get up. But sometimes
Yeah,
something that I haven't see a lot talked about in the doula space is being a mom and a doula and having mom guilt. Cause I'll have moments where I'm like, I should be there for my kid. Like I should be picking my kids up from school instead of whoever. Normally it's my mom or my husband. Like I should be the one picking them up because I usually pick them up and they're probably like, well, where's mom? Like she's not here. So I will say that's something that I've kind of been working through recently,
right,
is that mom guilt. And so, like, trying to be there, like, taking the holiday, taking time off, and being intentional about spending
yes,
time with them, being at school plays, being at events at
with
school
it,
for them, so showing that I'm there. Some days I might not be there because I'm supporting somebody else, but
right.
I'm still here to support you too.
100%. I don't think it's talked about enough because I would love to, because I'm not sure how many, I should say this, because I'm not sure how many people have littles um, while they are working as a full-time doula. And again, it's very similar to other clinical positions. When you're a nurse or a doctor, when you're on call, you just gotta go.
Right.
And there is a certain expectation, especially if you have a contract with a client where you're like, oh, I'll be there within an hour of you being at the hospital because very few, with some clients can go very fast. And other clients, you will have to go, come back. And you're like you said, Brittany, you're like, I kind of just want to have dinner with my family, but this is something that we signed up for because we love what we do. And that mom
Absolutely.
guilt is real. It's
Absolutely.
Literally, it's adventurous. That's what I keep saying. I was just like, this is quite a task.
Absolutely.
Brittany, have you been getting any sleep?
I feel
I
like
feel like
this
we got
week I
new
have
mom sleep.
this week has definitely been challenging. I will say that because it's just been a lot. 25 have definitely been a lot, not necessarily a lot in a bad way, but just been a lot and trying
Very
to
busy.
navigate all of the opportunities that have come and then also maintaining like clients that I have scheduled out and trying to be like, okay, Brittany, you got to pace yourself. Like you can't drink water from a fire hydrant. You got to like pace yourself. This is like, pace yourself. So yeah, I think staying in a positive space and a positive mindset and just pushing forward.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Speak to yourself how you would speak to your client with
absolutely.
grace and calmness and certainty. We got to remember that whenever we talk to ourselves, because we would do that for a client automatically.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so yes, it's been adventurous to say the least.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you for joining our episode of Two Dope Black Doulas as we discuss our adventures on this doula journey. I hope that you will join us for future episodes. We have some really exciting episodes planned for
Yes,
this 2026 season. So we hope that you will lock in, stay tuned to Two Dope Black Doulas.
yes. See you soon. Happy New Year again,
Happy New
everyone.
Year.